Have you been doing everything right, eating less, trying to move more, and yet the deep belly fat, the kind that feels hard, stubborn, and unhealthy, just won't go away? I see this all the time in my clinic. And if that's you, I want you to know something right away. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and your body is not betraying you. There is a very real, very biological reason this kind of fat refuses to budge. And today I want to talk to you about something most people have never been told, a very specific 3-gram trigger that can help shrink visceral fat by restoring how your cells actually make energy. Let's slow down and talk through this together, because this is not about willpower, it's about your mitochondria. Now, visceral fat is different from the fat you can pinch under your skin. Subcutaneous fat can be frustrating, yes, but visceral fat is the dangerous kind. It wraps around your organs, it sits deep inside the abdomen, it releases inflammatory chemicals directly into your bloodstream. This is the fat that increases your risk of diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, dementia, and even certain cancers. And here's the part that matters most. Visceral fat is not just stored energy, it is metabolically active tissue. That means it talks to your hormones, it talks to your immune system, and very importantly, it talks to your mitochondria. Your mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside every cell. Their job is to convert food into usable energy. When they work well, your body burns fuel efficiently, you feel steady energy, your metabolism adapts, fat is used instead of stored. But when mitochondria are damaged, something we call mitochondrial dysfunction, everything slows down. Fat burning stalls, blood sugar rises, inflammation increases, and visceral fat starts to accumulate even if you're eating less. This is why many people feel exhausted, foggy, and stuck in their body. Now let me pause here for a moment because this is important. If your mitochondria are struggling, your body will protect visceral fat. It doesn't see it as a problem, it sees it as survival. And that's why aggressive dieting often makes things worse. So the real question becomes, how do we restore mitochondrial function in a way that tells the body it is safe to let go of that fat? This is where the 3-gram trigger comes in. And no, this is not a gimmick. It's not a detox. And it's not something extreme. It's something deeply supported by human physiology. I'm talking about 3 grams per day of high-quality omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. Now let me explain why this matters calmly and clearly. Omega-3s are not just heart-healthy fats. That's an oversimplification. EPA and DHA directly integrate into the membranes of your cells, including your mitochondria. Think of your mitochondrial membrane like the walls of a power plant. If those walls are stiff, damaged, or inflamed, energy production becomes inefficient. Fuel gets wasted, signals get distorted. Omega-3 acids make those membranes more fluid, more flexible, and more responsive. This alone improves how efficiently mitochondria produce ATP, your cellular energy. But that's just the beginning. Omega-3s also reduce chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that quietly blocks fat burning. Visceral fat thrives in inflammation. When inflammation drops, visceral fat becomes metabolically vulnerable. Omega-3s also improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells respond better to insulin instead of storing excess energy as fat. And perhaps most importantly, they activate genes involved in fat oxidation. In simple terms, they flip the metabolic switch from storage to usage. Now, here's where the 3 grams specifically matter. Most people take far too little to create a therapeutic effect. A capsule here and there does not meaningfully change mitochondrial behavior. Clinical research consistently shows that around 3 grams per day of combined EPA and DHA is the threshold where we see real metabolic shifts. Below that, benefits are modest. At that level, the body starts to respond. Now, I want to be very clear and honest with you. This is not a magic pill. You will not wake up tomorrow with a flat stomach. What you will notice first is something much more subtle and much more important. Energy becomes steadier, cravings soften, brain fog begins to lift, inflammation markers improve. And over weeks to months, visceral fat starts to shrink because the reason it was there is being addressed. Let me say that again slowly. Visceral fat shrinks when the body feels metabolically safe. Omega-3s help create that safety at the cellular level. Now let's talk about something I see all the time, and this is where empathy really matters. Many people blame themselves for not being disciplined enough. But when mitochondria are inflamed and dysfunctional, your body is working against you. It will conserve energy, it will resist fat loss, it will increase hunger signals. This is not weakness, this is biology. And the good news, biology can change. When omega-3s repair mitochondrial membranes, something fascinating happens. The body becomes more flexible metabolically. It can switch between burning carbs and fat more easily. This is called metabolic flexibility, and it is one of the strongest predictors of long-term fat loss and health. People with good metabolic flexibility don't have to fight their bodies. Their bodies cooperate. Now let me address safety, because that matters. For most adults, 3 grams of EPA and DHA per day is considered safe and well tolerated. However, quality matters enormously. Low-quality fish oils can be oxidized, contaminated, or underdosed. This is why I always tell patients, look for third-party tested, pharmaceutical-grade omega-3s. And if you are on blood thinners or have a medical condition, this is a conversation to have with your physician. Medicine is not one size fits all. Now, omega-3s work best when combined with a few simple lifestyle signals. You don't need perfection, you don't need extremes. Gentle movement tells mitochondria to use energy. Adequate protein provides building blocks. Consistent sleep allows repair. Omega-3s amplify all of this. They don't replace healthy habits, they make them work again. Now, I want to pause because this next part is important. Visceral fat is not just about appearance, it's about longevity. Reducing visceral fat improves blood pressure, cholesterol patterns, liver health, hormonal balance, and cognitive function. When patients lose visceral fat, they often tell me something surprising. They say,
I feel like myself again. Clearer, calmer, more resilient. That's mitochondrial health showing up in real life.
and that's why I'm sharing this with you, not to sell you motivation, not to scare you, but to give you understanding. When you understand what your body needs, the fear and frustration start to fade. So if you've been stuck, if you've been trying and not seeing results, if you've been carrying that deep belly fat and wondering what's wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. Your cells just need the right signal. And sometimes that signal is as simple and as powerful as 3 grams. Take this information gently, respect your body, work with it, not against it. And remember, real healing doesn't rush. It restores. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're learning how your body actually works. And that's where real change begins. Take care of yourself calmly, patiently, and with trust. I'll see you again.